Hey guys, so for today's project, I'm going to show you the Artillian Canopy for your compact tractor, and it's really cool. Basically, I was not going to get a canopy at all until I saw the Artillian one and the way that it works. So I'm going to show this to you today. We're going to install it. As you can see, part of it's already on here. I'm going to walk you through the steps to get here, and then once the whole thing is done, I'll show you what it looks like. But this is a super cool product, really well designed, and this is one of those products that you can tell they took their time on. You know, some things you order and you get it in and it's like, man, they cut so many corners and just bad design and this and that. That's not the case on this. The Artillian Canopy is awesome. The way they've got it designed and set up, even the way they packaged it is fantastic. So stick around, I'm going to show you this. It's cool. But before we get to that, I just want to briefly mention there's been a whole lot of comments lately, you know, asking questions, you know, why did you get a New Holland instead of a John Deere or a Kubota? You know, why didn't you feel like the 25 horsepower tractor was working out for you? Why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? I encourage you to go back and look through my old videos over the last 3 or 4 weeks, maybe the last couple of months, really. If you go back and watch the videos, you can kind of follow along in that journey. You know, as I started looking at subcompacts, and then I realized what I really need is a compact tractor, and then all of the brands I looked at, and buying the 25 horse, deciding it wasn't strong enough, you know, that whole rigmarole, the whole process I went through, it's all in the videos that I've been posting, you know, over the last month or two. So I encourage you, you know, subscribe to the channel if you like what you see here. But go back and look through those old videos. There's a whole lot of questions that are answered. And like I said, it's just neat to kind of follow along and see the journey that I've been through, you know, which apparently a lot of guys have gone through the same thing. So go check it out. I want you to look at the packaging on, this is the bracket and the framework for the canopy. Look at this. This is like, I've never seen this before. You know, it's like a foam material that they've stacked all around it. I mean, this is like the best packaging I've ever seen. That's way better than bubble wrap. That's awesome. There's no way this thing would get tore up. Here's what it's actually called: Sealed Air Product Care. It says Instapak foam packaging. I mean, that's just awesome. I guess it's the little things that amaze me, but I mean, that's just, I've never seen that before. It's like the perfect thing. I mean, you could use this to package a lot of different things. So I'm going to do this out here in the grass because I don't really have a big workbench available at the moment, and I don't want to scratch up the finish on it. But this is the framework, of course, for the canopy. This is the part where all the magic happens. This is just a hardware bag. It's got all the hardware in it. But if I turn this over, see the mechanism in there? Like I said, that's where all the magic happens, because all you have to do is pull this trigger right here, and then you can remove this whole frame with the canopy attached. You can remove that from this section. This is the part that actually attaches to the ROPS of the machine. You can remove the canopy in a matter of seconds, and that's the awesome thing about this one. You can move it from tractor to tractor, or tractor to a zero-turn mower, or whatever the case might be. You just buy an extra one of these to put on your other machine, and then you can swap the canopy between machines literally in a matter of seconds. I mean, this is really the coolest thing I've ever seen, you know, when it comes to canopies. Yeah, I mean, the truth of the matter is I would not have even bought a canopy for this tractor if it wasn't for that, because sometimes, actually more than sometimes, pretty frequently really, I put the ROPS down on my tractor to pull in the garage or to load it on my trailer or whatever the case might be. And if I had to get out the tools and physically unbolt the canopy from the tractor every time I do that, it just wouldn't be worth it to me. So this Artillian kit, the way that it's designed, it makes it usable for me, because I could just take the canopy off very quickly when I want to load the tractor up or pull it in the garage. So this right here is awesome. So I opened up the hardware pack, and here's the hardware, obviously, some instructions. They also included a service bulletin, because apparently, if you look closely here, it says that they have drilled additional holes here on the most recent versions. So they want you to use these holes And the service bulletin basically says that if yours doesn't have them pre-drilled, that they want you to go ahead and drill those. So you need to use these rearmost holes, basically to give it more strength in the right areas, so the product will last longer. So anyway, as usual, first thing you want to do is read through your instructions really closely. Make sure you pay attention to everything. Also, while we're talking about that, it tells you here that there is a step number 5 that you have to really pay attention to, because it regards reducing vibration in the canopy by making sure the rubber stoppers are where they need to be. So there's a couple of things here you want to pay attention to, but overall I think the installation is going to be pretty easy. I mean, this thing is just basically the front and the back of one sheet is all it is. So let's get started and see if we can get this thing installed. Alright, so the first thing you have to do is you have to take this plate off of the main frame, because they ship it together as one piece. So you want to take this off, and then the second thing you have to do is remove this screw. There's one here and there's one on the other side also. So you got to take those out because you're going to separate these two pieces. So the next thing we're going to do, it says, is to position the ROPS plate on the ROPS with the slots for the U-bolts to the rear of the tractor. Well, there's slots here and there's slots there. I'm assuming they're meaning these slots to the rear, although they don't really say so. The instructions are kind of vague. There's a whole lot of steps that are not illustrated for you, so you have to read through carefully, you know, maybe 3 or 4 times before you finally see what they're talking about here. But maybe this will end up being trial and error, I don't know, but I'm going to give it a whirl. So we're going to mount this onto the tractor now with the supplied hardware, which is in my bag over there. So I've laid out the U-bolts and the nuts that I'm assuming we're going to have to use. These are the only ones in here that would make sense. The rest of this stuff is just smaller stuff that looks like what I'm probably going to have to use to attach the canopy to the framework. So we're going to go with these. All right, so I see what they mean now. If you see how there's some thread, and maybe you can't see it. See, there's a little bit of thread still showing when that's all the way up. And the reason that you want that is because the top of the U-bolt has to be low enough that the other piece will go back on there again. You know, if these were up here, then it would interfere. So they want you to be able to see a little bit of thread down there, because then you know it's the proper length. So that's what that's all about. So I've got my nuts on there, and I guess I just need to take some measurements and make sure it's centered up before I crank those down. Come on, camera. I don't know why this thing won't focus sometimes. So there they are. These are 3/4 inch, by the way. So you'll need a deep well 3/4 inch socket or a 3/4 inch ratcheting wrench. And beware, these are lock nuts, so they will wear you out. You got to get up on your tractor and crank on those for a while. So make sure you have plenty of energy before you get started. Now we can move on to the next step. So the next step says to attach the striker plate, which I'm guessing is this dude right here, to the ROPS plate, which is the part that we just put on the tractor over there. You can see it's nice and even, side to side. So we're going to attach this part to that part using these bolts right here. These are the 5/16-18 screws. And it says to take care not to cross thread the weld nuts, because those have nuts welded onto them. So you don't want to cross thread those, that would be bad. So let's go over there and put this on. Okay, so now I got the striker plate on, got these 3 bolts in. Now this one holds it on, and then these 2 here allow you to adjust it. So you can actually angle your canopy also. I've got mine set perfectly level right now. And then after I get the canopy on, I can make some minor adjustments to it, but I think perfectly level is going to be just about right. So now this is on, everything is tight. I've got my measurements to make sure everything is nice and even. That wasn't too bad. Now I tightened these little bolts down using a combination of a 1/2 inch ratcheting wrench and a 1/2 inch socket with an extension. So 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch so far. So now we're on to the second page here, and it says to take the framework, which I've got laying over there in the grass, and to set it up on there and latch it into place. And then after that, you're going to lay the canopy on top of it so that you can get it centered up and find where to put the bolts. Now, there are different styles of ROPS. You know, I've seen some tractors that have rearward ones, some are centered like mine, some are kind of forward tilting, so it tells you here which of these holes to use depending on how your ROPS is shaped on your tractor. But that's the next step, put the framework up there and then lay the canopy on and start putting the bolts in, and then you will be done. So just looking at this, you know, like I said, I've got mine set perfectly level, but I think after I get the canopy on there, I may give it just a little bit of a forward tilt, because I think a little bit of a forward tilt would keep more sun off your face, especially this time of the night. You know, like the sun is getting kind of low in the sky, so if I was out in the field, it would be shining right in on me. But that's the wonderful thing about this. There's so much adjustment to it. You can tilt it forward, backward, move it around. You know, I mean, you've got a lot of adjustment there. And like I said, the main magic is that system there where you can quickly detach this whole thing and take it off the ROPS. The strike plate and everything that we just installed, of course, stays on the ROPS, but the framework and the canopy can be disconnected and taken off in a matter of seconds. And again, that's the awesome thing about the Artillian version of the canopy. And it's the thing that convinced me to go ahead and get one. Yeah, so normally this is the part where I would go ahead and put the canopy up here and bolt it on and show it to you, but the UPS driver did not bring that part today. You see, they send the hardware and the framework in one box, and then the actual canopy is in a separate box, and I guess they forgot to load that box onto my UPS driver's truck today. So I hate it when that happens. They send things in 2 pieces and you only get 1 box. So now I have to wait until Monday to put the rest of the canopy on here and show it to you, but I don't think that'll take very long. So stay tuned. Hey guys, so it's a few days later and the UPS truck finally showed up with the rest of the canopy. So let's open it up and see what it looks like. All right, looks pretty nice. So I got mine in the white color because it matches my tractor, but you can actually get these in John Deere green, Kubota orange. I think you can get black and red. There's several different colors you can pick from, and they don't charge you any extra, so you can pretty much get whatever you want to match your tractor the best. Now you can see it's already pre-drilled. So all I have to do now is just lay this on top of the framework and mark which holes I want to use, and then we can go from there. But a couple of quick notes about this. It's made out of aluminum, which is the perfect material for something like this. You know, plastic would get brittle over time and may crack if you hit a tree limb or something. Steel would be really heavy and it would rust out. So the aluminum is perfect. There's the underside of it. Now this whole thing weighs like 30 pounds. So just about anybody will be able to reach up under there and grab this and the framework, disconnect it and lift it off the tractor. You know, it's not super heavy. It's not something you got to have 2 people to do. Any healthy adult should be able to handle this by themselves. So let's finish this up and show you the finished product. All right, so I'm out in the barn because we just had a little bit of a rain shower come through a minute ago. And basically what I'm trying to do is figure out where I want to put this thing. This position right here is as far forward as it'll go. And so in the operator's seat there, you can see that it would give you maximum coverage over the front of your tractor, you know, the dash. And, you know, as far as the sun hitting you in the face, it would give you maximum coverage. But if you do that, then you don't have hardly anything, you know, back here. I mean, there's the back of the seat, so your head's going to be up here, and you wouldn't get much in the way of protection, you know, on your back. So I don't know, I might move it back one, you can see the holes there. I might move it back one hole and see what it looks like. Just trying to decide. So there it is in the position one hole back from where it was. You can see that now you've got a little bit, so you've got a little bit more coverage in the back now to kind of keep the sun and rain off your back, but you still got really good coverage here over the dash. And this position kind of centers the canopy over the driver operator a little bit better. So I might try this. Now if you do this, you can see how you're going to have a couple of holes there that are back beyond the ROPS, and obviously you want to make sure you put bolts in there even though they're not connected to anything, and the instructions tell you to do that also. You want to put your bolts in there with the rubber washers to make sure that it stays watertight. Otherwise it's not going to do you any good and you're just going to have water running down through there if you get caught out in a rain shower or something. So you got to put bolts in all of the holes whether you use them or not. But yeah, I kind of like that. I think I might try that position, and that should work out pretty good. What do you guys think? I'm gonna put it there and then I can always move it later, not a big deal. So now all I have to do is go up to the garage and get the bolts, find my holes and stick those in, and we should be good to go. Okay, so once you decide which holes you want to put this thing in, the easiest thing to do is just to remove it from the tractor, take the framework back off, and lay it upside down like this on something soft. I've got a cardboard box and some tires under there because you don't want to scratch up your surface, but just lay it upside down like this, and then you can put your hardware in. Now you're going to have, I don't know if you can see that there, you're going to have that main bolt, and you're going to have a flat washer and a rubber washer on the top side to keep it watertight. And then on this side you've got these lock nuts. All of this stuff is 1/2 inch hardware again, by the way. What I don't really know, you've got these washers here, and you know, it seems to make sense that you would have a washer on the underside, but these washers seem to be really oversized for these bolts, so I'm not quite sure what's up with that. But if you get them centered, you know, if you center them under the nut before you tighten them down, they seem to work okay. So that's what I've been doing there. So I'm just going to tighten these down, and then I will be at the final step of the process, which has to do with these little rubber washers here. I mean stoppers is what I meant. See those little dudes right there? So these are the ones that you have to pay attention to in that step 5 on the instructions, because you have to put this back on the tractor, and then it tells you specifically how to set these because you want it to make contact, and then you're going to raise it up and give it one more full turn so that it makes good contact, because you want this to really be in position to keep the vibration out of this thing. They said that the dependability and longevity of this product depends on you setting those properly. You got one on that side over there too, and then of course you got a jam nut under there, so when you do get it set you can jam it. And that is the final step. After that you can put this back on the tractor and you're ready to go. Okay, so it's back on, and here is that rubber washer, or that rubber stopper rather, right there, and you can see the plate that it's supposed to meet up against right below it. So that's the last step, is to get in there and adjust that down into that plate, and then give it one more full turn and tighten up your jam nut, and then you're done. So sitting here in the operator station, I feel like I've got pretty good coverage. I mean, you know, if I reach out as far as I can, I know the camera doesn't do it justice, but my fingertips are still about a foot away from the edge up there. I've got about a foot, you know, beyond arm's length. And so that's pretty good coverage. And then back there behind me, I've got good coverage too. So it actually works out pretty nice. I like it. Of course, it's always hard to do all this by yourself. My cameraman's being lazy today, but I'll try to give you another angle here, so you can kind of see, you know, like how far above my head it is. You know, and honestly, this just comes down to like how tall your ROPS is on your tractor. Some of them are different, you know, every brand is a little bit different, but But like I said, I feel like it gives pretty good coverage overall though. So a nice product, and the awesome thing about it is, just like I said, that you can take it off so fast. Now they say that, and it's funny because there's a sign behind me, 35 miles an hour. I didn't plan that, by the way. But they say that you can leave this on your tractor if you're going to trailer your tractor on an open deck trailer. You can leave this on there up to 35 miles an hour. And in fact, I'm looking at a safety tag on the underside of it right here that says the same thing. But me personally, I wouldn't do that. I mean, it takes literally seconds to take this thing off and set it down inside your truck or in the back of your truck or something. Strap it down if you have to. It's just so quick and easy to take this off that it's not worth risking tearing it up out on the road. So just FYI on that. You can leave it on up to 35 according to the directions, but personally, I wouldn't do that. Anyway, it's an awesome product, the Artillian Canopy for your compact tractor. Now, I feel like, you know, if there's one thing I would change about this, I would make it just a little bit bigger. I feel like they have sized this so that it will work well on a compact or a subcompact tractor. And so it's a little bit small for a compact. You know, it could be 6 inches wider and maybe 6 inches longer or something. You know, just a little bit more real estate. It would kind of fill out the operator station on this compact a little bit better, I think. But I can pretty much bet that they did this so that if you put it on a subcompact, it wouldn't look ridiculous, you know. That's probably why they made it this size. But all in all, it's not bad. I really like it. And hopefully this installation video will help somebody out. And if you got any questions about this product, shoot me a line below. As always, guys, I appreciate you watching the videos. Thanks a lot and have a good night.